Aloha, this is Jonathan. I'm going to do a unboxing of the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. My son has some friends over, so there might be a little background noise at some point. It's by Los Garabio, and it looks like, well, Arthur Edward Waite, Pamela Coleman Smith. So let's see. A little scissor really makes the big difference. So it's pretty small, and it comes in a two-part box here. It's actually a really nice little box, really sturdy, so that's nice. Has a little white book. Of course, it's in multiple languages. You got English, Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Russian, I guess. That's an interesting spread there. Finding the purpose. So finding the purpose. The querent must begin by shuffling the cards very well in order to infuse them with his or her energy. When the deck has without a doubt absorbed the energy, the deck is placed on the table and cut. The querent takes the lower half and lays out 8 cards forming the figure shown in the diagram. First card represents the starting point of the querent's current situation. The second card represents the querent's skills and strong points. The third represents a past problem. The fourth represents his or her weakness or bad habits. The fifth card has several meanings. It may represent a new starting point, the influence of others, or another nature of the querent. The cardamant must use his or her sensitivity to choose the most suitable meaning. The sixth card represents the querent's talents, which are still unknown, and the seventh, new possibilities. The eighth card represents a test which must be passed in order to verify your passions. The last card is simply the same as the first one, which must now be read keeping in mind the extra information provided by the other cards. This is your new purpose. Remember, the upside down cards should be interpreted slightly differently, almost oppositely. And then you get a very short little write-up of the majors. You have the wands, pentacles, swords, chalices, and then there it is in Italian. So yeah, that's page 2. I guess they're calling the cover page 1. So really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages total, and then the rest is different languages. I always like learning new skills, new spreads. So there's a Los Garabia little marker. Nice little box for sure. I was just seeing if they have any of those easy to use ones. Nope. Good thing I got my little scissors. There's actually some sewing scissors that I found while I was looking for a seam ripper. Since I was told seam rippers are the best way to get these things open without injuring anything. So let's see. Oops. Now let's just, now that I have a little hole to work in. The struggles of opening new decks. Oh, of course now I see the little tab. I didn't look like there was one to begin with, but I guess there is one. Oops! So there's, for news and information, follow Los Garabia Tarot on Instagram. Okay. For news and information, follow Los Garabia Tarot on Facebook. Interesting. Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. It's actually pretty decent cardstock. surprisingly. Oh, it looks like the rose and the lily on the back there. So I really love the coloration of this. I am not sure what's going on in that room. I asked him to be quiet, but whatever. There is a little bit of pixelation in the face there. Let's see if I can get it close enough. I mean, it's pretty nice. Overall, it's good. I love the more muted coloring. And it was a great little pocket deck, too. I actually am really appreciating a lot of these mini decks that are coming out. It's pretty cool. Of course, my son's making the most noise. So, yeah, I love that it's a lot more clear than some of the Rider-Waite's from like the 80s and 90s. Let's see. Eyes are open. I'm just going through quick because, we all know Rider-Waite pretty well. But the coloration is, I love the muted yellow. It's a lot more easier on the eye than the bright garish yellow. I really love this like blue gray in the background here. Great addition to my Rider-Waite Smith collection for sure. And I love that it's mini, so I can actually use this on camera and have it show up pretty well. I really love how this looks with the muted colors. I don't know, it seems like I can see more detail than those garish overprinted ones. Well, I do really like the original by DeBry. That's a really good one too, especially because it's got linen finish on it. Really, it's really nice cardstock. I'm surprised. I was just chatting earlier with someone about how bad the Scarabeo cardstock usually is. Oh, yep, see, you got the missing seeds and the missing shading, so must be based on the Pam C or Pam D, as I know the nickname is the Dirty Pam. So I'm just going through quick because, like I said, I'm sure most people know this deck pretty well. I just wanted you guys to see the more muted colors. I mean, it's not that shiny. That's my light overhead, so it's not super glossy. It's more of a matte. There is a little bit of shine, but it's not glossy. I do like that you can see that he's definitely a little more meh. And then just have the Roman numeral. There's no title for cups or anything. Which, like I said, we all know this deck really well. So, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I saw, was it Lucian of Cross Paths that trimmed this that's even smaller? I think so. Maybe. So, let's see. Just a moment. Sorry about that. They came barging out here and were being really loud. So it's interesting here for me that this Ten of Cups, the rainbow isn't very a rainbow. That's something about this deck that's a little off for me. Page. Knight. Queen of Cups. Oh, there goes a peacock. King of Cups. Ace of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. Three. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's interesting how they're got very dark circles around them in this version. 9. This is one of my favorite cards, and I like the fact that you can actually tell the difference here. You can actually see the robe that the grandfather is wearing. You can actually tell a lot of detail in this one, which in some decks, it's just the detail is just so blurred. Page, I like that it's like yellowish and fading into blue, almost like sunset, maybe. Here's another one that sometimes the chair and the robes kind of get lost in each other, but you can actually pretty much see them here. Two wands. Oh, sounds like he's about ready to display. There's a male peacock peacocks are male. Peahens are female. There's one that hangs out right at the bottom of a wall that likes to display on a regular basis. Oh, and I just recently discovered that there's a peahen that made a little nest near the bottom of our wall. It looks like there's 4 peacock eggs. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but in this card, he's wearing a boot on this foot and a slipper shoe on this foot. And there was someone posted on, I forget which group it was. I think it was multiple groups, I didn't think about it. About how, oh, that must have been a mistake, or oh, he jumped up so soon. But I don't think Pamela Coleman Smith would have done that as an accident. It's a statement. I think of it more in the way of this person is choosing their own path, defending themselves against society, and the boot was the shoe of a workman, and that kind of slipper shoe there was the shoe of the upper class. So I see this person is walking between worlds. And that's how I usually interpret that, and making a stand against society to live their own lives. No. 8, 9, 10. So when you're doing numerology, I count this one as 11. This one is 12, 13, and 14. I have a spread that I use where you pull 3 cards, you add them together for the top card, which is quintessential, and the bottom of the deck is the shadow card. So that's what I mean by the numbers there. Here we have the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords. I don't know why I'm telling you what the number is, because it's pretty obvious what the card is. You can still see packs. I was doing a reading the other day, and this image was one of the cards pulled, but it's from the back. Oh, just a minute. Sorry about that, kids. So, like I was saying, I pulled this card in another deck where you see the person from the back, and it looks like they're actually holding the end of the rope, so that the rope is not even tied. They're actually holding the 2 ends of the rope themselves, and if they just let go, the rope would fall away, which is an interesting take on that. The dawn is a lot more subtle in this one, like you don't see a specific sun, which is interesting. I love how in the swords there's always like windy in the background. See how the trees are just being pushed. And actually a lot of the sword cards have those kind of wind-swept clouds. Except this one where the queen is almost sitting in the clouds. And that is the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot Mini, which I actually really appreciate. I mean, it's not a huge deck, it's palm-sized, which, like I said, would be great for this kind of setting, because when I use regular-sized tarot, I mean, there's only so many you can fit on the screen before the screen is filled. So... okay. Did you happen to get this copy, or do you have the full-size copy? What do you think of this deck? Do you use it much? Or do you prefer a different Rider-Waite Smith? Let me know in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, aloha.